Welcome to the Shortwave Radio channel, and we are going to review this wonderful little portable receiver. This is the new Tecsun PL-990x. It is the brand new, what they call high-end receiver from Tecsun, and I have been testing it for more than a week now, week and a half around, and I'm going to give you my impressions, but we're going to go through it in a few videos. So this first video is going to talk about its functionalities. The second video is going to talk about what I think of its performance. And the last video will be what's negative about it, because no radio is perfect. There's always something wrong. Even with high-end receivers, there's always a little something that's not right. So what is this? This is a long wave, medium wave, shortwave general coverage. So it goes from 100 kilohertz all the way up to 30 megahertz, and it has FM, of course, which goes down all the way down to 64 megahertz, by the way, up to 108. And it is single sideband with separate upper lower sideband, which is nice. Of course, it is a radio that is real, feels quality, feels good. So what are the features in it? What makes it a $235 receiver from an Onco? First of all, the size. If we compare the size of this, and I'll be using my Tecsun PL-680 for it. This is the Tecsun PL-680. It's the same size as the 660, the 600. So for those that know the size of that one, if we put them in front, you see that it's slightly longer. The 990X has a slightly longer, but it's pretty much the same height. Where also it's a little bigger, the thickness. Look at the thickness compared to the 680. It's a little thicker. Probably has to do with the fact that it has a pretty good speaker. So the speaker probably takes more space. They had to make it thicker for that. It has more than 3,000 memory channels. It's all done in pages. So when you go on the top here, you can change the page, what page of memory you are at. And if you use ATS scan functionality, which works also similar to ETM, the easy tuning mode, which works great, by the way, and it's faster than what I have on the Conicom GP5. It's faster than what I have also on the PL-380. Works great. It's pretty sensitive in there, and you can it stores in one of the pages that you will choose for the scan of the international broadcast bands. Feels quality and looks quality. It is great. The knobs here are in metal, not plastic, and they have a little, just enough stiffness to them when you tune or turn them that it feels good. It feels actually great to have that. What else do we have in here? Of course, an extra long telescopic. This telescopic antenna is longer than the average telescopic of any portable receivers that I've had, except really big radios. So it probably will give it a little something more. The only thing is, because it's very long, the last section of the antenna here is actually very thin. So make sure you're careful when you're handling it not to break it, because it's very thin compared to other radios. But it has to do with the fact that it's very long as a telescopic also. The radio has, of course, the tuning knob, fine tuning knob, volume control, and here is a switch for the tone. So depending on what you want, and if you're tuning single sideband, you can change from a higher pitch, lower pitch tone. The other side has the external antenna jack right here at the top. It has two other jacks here that are one for line out with actually control of the volume through the menu. So you can actually choose how strong the audio will come out of the line out here. You have, of course, the headphone jack and you have a micro USB for charging, but not just charging. You can actually play your computer's audio through this micro SD. It acts as a speaker if you want, an outboard speaker in Windows. I've plugged it in and it actually works great. It has little rubber covers over these holes that you can remove when you use them and put them back. Like what it does is to prevent the dust from going inside. It's kind of nice that they thought about that. But after you remove them like a dozen times, you probably will never put them back because they're kind of a little hard to push back and you'll get annoyed at it at some point. But if you don't use the jacks, you can leave it there, and it's kind of a nice add-on here. In the front, the buttons, of course, here is a light button, so you can turn on the light or off the light. And so when you turn it on, it stays on all the time. You have the full keypad here. Of course, you have the buttons for the page of memory pages. You have the bandwidth also, that is nice to choose depending on shortwave, single sideband, or in AM mode. You can choose different bandwidths up to 6 kilohertz, and in single sideband down to 500 hertz to make a very precise tuning. You have, of course, the band tuning, up down. Well, it's not up down, it's like going different bands of shortwave, and also activates the audio ATS, automatic tuning system, to scan for the bands. And of course, you got the upper lower sideband, separate upper lower sideband here at the bottom, and you've got the band switches for FM, shortwave, long wave, medium wave, right here. On this side here, the buttons that you have are the top button is external or internal antenna. What is nice, it disconnects the internal and ferrite on long wave, medium wave. So if you're a DXer for long wave, medium wave, use a loop or something. Well, this is cool because you can now actually really use that loop to DX because it disconnects the internal antenna. So that's a very positive thing too. It has a 3 settings for sensitivity, so it goes from the DX or very sensitive setting to a medium setting, kind of a local switch if you want, and there's a third setting to make it really less sensitive in case there's really a lot of overloading. You can choose between 3 settings and sensitivity here. At the top, you have a button for the snooze control if you are using it as a, of course, alarm clock. You also have the setting for the display mode, so if you want to have clock or if you want to have signal to noise ratio indication or temperature and so on, like other receivers, it's here. You have a key lock functionality, so if you activate this, you won't accidentally turn it on when it's in your luggage if you want. So that's pretty much what's in here. And the bottom, you have a SD card, micro SD card. Comes with a 16 gigabyte micro SD, by the way. And you have, of course, their little reset hole. If something goes wrong, you can reset the radio. In the box, it comes with a nice carrying case that you could put it in. It comes with a reel-up antenna that you can plug in. It comes with 2 batteries, and the batteries are 18650. So this is not the original battery, by the way. This is one of my own, but because I wanted to use some of the ones that I had instead of the ones they give with the radio. The ones they give are very high quality, by the way. They give 2,800 milliamp hour. They will give you a full day of radio easily, even with the display light on all the time. It's really nice, and it has 2 batteries. Now, that said, depending on where you're going to purchase it and from what company it is going to arrive for shipping, it's possible that the batteries are not included, because some shipping companies do not want lithium-ion batteries in the radios or in boxes. That said, you know, it's a negative for me that there's an 18650 because, as I always say, you know, go camping and have nothing else. And if you have no more batteries, well, it's kind of tough to find 18650s in the middle of nowhere, where double A's would have been kind of nice. But that said, you know, just prepare yourself, get yourself several more if you want, and or just get yourself a power bank like for smartphone charging, and keep it with you so you can actually charge the radio with it. So that's pretty nice, anyways, as a radio. So feels quality, like I said, it looks like it feels like, and it looks good. It's a little on the heavy side, so if travel size and weight is a problem, it's a little heavier than say the Tecsun PL-680. Not by much though. The PL-680 is quite heavy for a radio, but it's a little heavier because it's a little bigger. And so these are the functionalities and the stuff that you have here on the front side. Of course, this is a media player also, so it has playback buttons. SD card is for playing audio files. It does not record on it, and so that'll be in my negative video. But for the rest, as synchronous detection, we're going to talk about that in a separate video. Great portable radio. And so this is the roundup of what is in here. And by the way, there's also a power adapter to charge the battery included in the box. There's a world map on one side, amateur radio world map on one side, and the other side is the radio's functionalities. Has a pretty nice instruction manual, quite detailed. Has a few quirks that are not well explained, including frequency calibration. But we'll come to that in another video. So that's the radio itself. Next video will be how does it perform, and is it worth it, the price, and is it in what we would call an high-end category. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching.